your eyes, just relax, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Done. नमः कां गणपतये नमो नमः कां गणपतये नमो नमः कां गणपतये नमो नमः जय गणेश गणनाथ दयानिधि सकल विघ्नहर हमारे जय गणेश गणनाथ दयानिधि सकल विघ्नहर हमारे कां गणपतये नमो नमः 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 शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये कां गणपतये नमो नमः कां गणपतये नमो नमः कां गणपतये नमो नमः कां गणपतये नमो नमः कां गणपतये नमो जय गणेश गणनाथ दयानिधि सकल विघ्नहर हमारे जय गणेश गणनाथ दयानिधि सकल विघ्नहर हमारे कां गणपतये नमो नमः कां गणपतये नमो नमः कां गणपतये नमो नमः कां गणपतये
Namaste. Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang being a Sanskrit word that basically means a spiritual community. Literally means community of truth. Whenever two or more who are on the path of discovering truth and flowering into higher states of consciousness come together to share their presence, to share their journeys, to share their challenges and their insights with one another, we have a satsang. And so it's an essential part of everyone's spiritual path to connect with a community of others who are on the same journey that we are of awakening. The Flowering Heart community is informal and includes people from different spiritual backgrounds, different spiritual teachers and teachings. What we have in common is that we're sharing this journey of discovery, of awakening, of the flowering of the heart in oneness with the divine and with all that is. So, glad you're here tonight. It's so important that we all shift. And when I say we all, I mean all of humanity. The collective consciousness of humanity needs to shift from a collective civilization that we have all created, rooted in competition, conflict, and war. And we need to shift into birth a whole new world civilization that's rooted in cooperation, in harmony, and in peace. That will happen when the collective consciousness shifts. For you see, we're all one. We're one human being manifesting in 8 billion forms. And so it's not enough for one of us or 1 million of us to awaken. We all need to shift into this new world of cooperation and peace and harmony. We're approaching it one person at a time. Right now, we're awakening one at a time, but more people are awakened now than we're aware of at any other time in human history. And people are awakening so quickly. And when one person awakes, it sends out ripples into the collective consciousness that catalyze everyone and make it a little bit easier for the next person. So it's wonderful that you're here. Please join us in sending the transmission that we always send throughout everything we do. These satsangs, the ones we do here at our center, our courses, we share something called the Flowering Heart Blessing. It's a transmission of divine, awakened presence, grace, love, and light. It comes directly from Source, and its purpose, its effect, is to awaken within the receiver awareness of the inner divine, of the true essence of one's nature, which is already enlightenment itself. And so the Flowering Heart Blessing really accelerates the journey of awakening. It dissolves blocks. It smooths the way. And if you're one of those fortunate ones who's already awakened, it will take you deeper, because awakening is an ongoing process of expansion with no end in sight. Awakening is not a destination, it's a process. So, here we are. Just, you're soaking in it. The Divine showed us when we were given this form of blessing about 10 years ago that, first of all, it was very clearly shown to us that we should give it away and not charge for it. Secondly, to tell people that when you've received one of these blessings, and you're receiving it right now, that you're fully initiated to be able to pass it on to others. All you need to do is invite the Divine to flow the blessing through you. So, please join us in doing that right now. To send the blessing to everyone who joins us tonight and to every person who views the video of this satsang at any time in the future. 10 years from now, it will still carry the same blessing for people that watch it, because the blessing is pure spirit, which is unbounded by distance or by time. It's always here and now. Announcements. Coming up at the end of this month, the last Sunday of the month, which is August 31st, we're beginning a new book in our Contemplative Book Club. We're going to be focusing on and discussing the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. But the translation that we're using is by Jia Fu Feng and by Jane English. This particular translation came out in 1972, and it exposed many people to the Tao Te Ching. It's got 81 chapters, which are a paragraph long, and it has the Chinese calligraphy beautifully written, and these beautiful black and white photos that accompany each of the 81 chapters. So if you just get any of the really editions by Jia Fu Feng and by Jane English, it'll work. We're going to use the intro and read through that, which is from the latest edition. It came out in 1997, I believe. But like I said, any edition you can lay your hands on of these translators' work, you could join us at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoons, either in person here at Flowering Heart Center or on Zoom. All the information is on our website. If you go to floweringheart.org, one of the top buttons on the menu is Book Club Centering Group. And from 2 to 3, we discuss books on mysticism, meditation, contemplative prayer from different traditions. And then from just about 3 o'clock to 3:30, we do a half an hour of centering meditation together, which is a very beautiful meditation practice that focuses quite simply on the inner divine. And though it originated with the desert monks in the Middle East, in our time, centering is being practiced by not just Christians, but by Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, pagans, Taoists. I don't think, if I left anyone else out, people of all different traditions are practicing this because more and more people are coming into contact with the divine within. As it turns out, the outer world's a reflection of the inner world, and the entire ocean of the divine is resonant within us at the center of our being. So I think this will be a lot of fun. We have some Taoist adepts that are participating in this upcoming one, and I'm one of them. So it's a great opportunity to explore the Tao Te Ching with adepts, with a Taoist abbot, with a lot of people whose hearts are very widely open to spirit. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think we have any other announcements right now.
Well, that Sunday will also be communion. It's the last Sunday of the month. It will also be communion with the Cosmic Christ and a potluck before the book club. So if you'd like to come participate in that, just bring something yummy to share and good fellowship. It's nice. And then we just put the next Quantum Diamond Heart retreat on the calendar.
Yes, the Diamond Heart Quantum Liberation workshop, course, retreat. It's a 2-day retreat that's very intense, and we present the distillation of the most important teachings and processes that we've learned over the last 20 years, well, all of our lives, but the 20 years that Suzanne and I have been together, and it's something else. If you want to do that November 8th and 9th, make your plans, change your plans if it's something else you can change, but you have to be here with us at Flowering Heart Center. And that's not hard to do. If you need more information, feel free to get in touch with us.
And both days are important to make it for that essential, because we draw on the energy from the first day, from Saturday, over into the processes for Sunday. So it's got to ebb and a flow to it that we've really gotten down.
Yeah, you can't skip any of it.
Yeah.
So you got to plan on being here all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and you won't regret it, I promise. And it is so reasonable. I mean, compared to what you pay to go to retreats and workshops these days, we're practically giving it away. But you know, it's so important to share with you the truth and the understanding, the insights, and the spiritual processes that we've come to experience that have brought us to where we are, and we can't keep it to ourselves. So the last one we did is 18 months ago. And we'll do it again, but it might be another year and a half. We don't really know. We do it when the divine says, okay, it's time. And we just got that. So we're excited. If you're here, please give us a like or a love if you're on Facebook, a heart or a thumbs up or some other emoji. So it gives us your name. We go in at the end and see who dropped in that gave us a like or a love, and we send you special blessings and hugs at the end. And if you watch it during the week between now and next Monday, do it, because I go back in during the week and look too. Then we're going to open it to questions and answers, and I see that we already have some coming in, but I'm going to give you more time to think about if there's something you'd like to ask about the spiritual journey, life, death, meditation, awakening, God realization. Throw it out there, because it'll help everyone, and it will move the divine to pour inspiration out to all of us, which is what Satsang is about, I think. So tonight, maybe not surprisingly, I'm going to share some quotes. I always share quotes, or usually from inspiringquotes.com, where a group of wonderful, inspired authors writes little articles and share quotes from very influential people throughout history. Tonight, we're going to begin with a quote from Lao Tzu, who is the author of the Tao Te Ching. I'll tell you more about him in a little bit. But here's the first quote. A leader is best when people barely know that he exists. Lao Tzu. And as a little introduction, the ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu is credited with founding Taoism, a spiritual tradition that prioritizes harmony with nature, a life of humility and simplicity, and making peace with allowing things to happen as they may. This quote we just heard, suggesting that good leadership is not about control, but rather quiet, unassuming stewardship, comes from his work, Tao Te Ching, a foundational Taoist text dated sometime between the 3rd and 6th centuries BCE. Lao Tzu believed the best leaders empower others to act and thrive on their own terms, while barely drawing attention to themselves at all. This stands in sharp contrast to the spectacle many historical leaders have made of themselves. But according to Lao Tzu, the strongest influence doesn't come from being loud. It comes from remaining steady, selfless, and aware of the bigger picture. Here's a few more from him. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Lao Tzu. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Another translation of this is knowing others is wisdom. Knowing yourself is enlightenment. To lead people, walk behind them. I like that. They don't even know they're following because you're walking behind them. So Here's some more. 12 quotes that get to the heart of Taoism. Taoism is a philosophy and religion that developed in China around 500 BCE. Tao, roughly translated the way or the path, centers on the idea of a natural order to the universe that can be understood by living in harmony with the nature of things. Qi is the energy or life force of all living things. It influences order in the universe and keeps the Tao balanced. Becoming one with the Tao means striving to live in harmony with the natural world in an ever-changing universe. The philosopher Lao Tzu, meaning old master, is credited with founding Taoism and writing the Tao Te Ching, roughly translated as the Book of the Way and its Virtue. Those scholars now question whether Lao Tzu was a singular historical figure or an amalgam of several Taoist philosophers. The insights found in the Tao Te Ching and other Taoist writings still offer inspiration and encouragement to those who seek wisdom. These quotes from both ancient and contemporary texts explore the principles at the heart of Taoism and offer insight into its timeless philosophy. Before I read these, I just want to say that, and I'm a Taoist, our understanding was that Lao Tzu, who worked in the imperial court, he was revered by Confucius, considered to be an amazingly wise sage, finally became sick to his heart at the condition of humanity. He said, "I've had it. I'm leaving the world." And so he made his way toward the Himalayas, and he reached one of the gateways out of China into the Himalayas, and the gatekeeper stopped him. And legend is that the gatekeeper would not let Lao Tzu pass until he wrote down his teaching. And that became the Tao Te Ching. 81 very brief little chapters that encapsulate, distillate really the essence of Taoism, which was really the foundation of Zen Buddhism. When Buddhism was brought to China, they met the Taoists that were there. That was the existing spirituality, and it sort of blended, and we got Zen out of that. But Taoism in its purity still exists, and I'm one of the teachers of it. So here are these quotes. "Nothing on earth is so weak and yielding as water. But for breaking down the firm and strong, it has no equal." Lao Tzu. "My greatest happiness consists precisely in doing nothing whatever that is calculated to obtain happiness." Chuang Tzu, great Taoist philosopher. "When you know and respect your own inner nature, you know where you belong." Benjamin Hoff, author. "Peace, to accept what must be, to know what endures, that, in that knowledge is wisdom. To know what endures is to be open-hearted, magnanimous, regal, blessed, following the Tao, the way that endures forever." Ursula K. Le Guin, author. "Seeing your own smallness is called insight. Honoring your own tenderness is called strength." Lao Tzu. The Tao Te Ching teaches of 3 jewels or characteristics that man should cherish. They are compassion, which leads to courage, moderation, which leads to generosity, and humility, which leads to leadership. RZA Rapper. To know others is wisdom. To know oneself is enlightenment. To conquer others is to prove one's force. To conquer oneself is to prove one's strength. Yuan Xingming, scholar. Tao is the flow of the universe, Tao is the mysterious. Tao is balance. Deng Ming Dao, author. When the operating principle of the universe is to let everything be, while the operating principle of the universe is to let everything be, Tao does not allow overgrowth or underdevelopment to go unchecked. Whenever something becomes too strong, the opposite arises to maintain balance. Xiaolan Hu and William Cully Allen, authors. Seeing the small is called clarity. Keeping flexible is called strength. Lao Tzu. Be at peace with your place and cherish kindness. Deng Ming Dao, author. To know practical goodness is called knowledge. To love practical goodness is called humaneness. To honor practical goodness is called justice. To respect practical goodness is called courtesy. And to enjoy practical goodness is called music. Lao Tzu. That was assembled by Christina Wright, a coffee-fueled writer living happily ever after with her family in the suburbs of Richmond, Virginia. And I'm going to share one more little quote with you. Another one from Chuang Tzu, which you may have heard this too. Chuang Tzu wrote this: "Once upon a time, I dreamt I was a butterfly, fluttering hither and thither. To all intents and purposes a butterfly. I was conscious only of my happiness as a butterfly, unaware that I was myself. Soon I awakened, and there I was, veritably myself again. Now I do not know whether I was then a man dreaming I was a butterfly, or whether I am now a butterfly dreaming I am a man." And here's his teaching about that approach to reality is, only after the Great Awakening will we realize that this is the great dream. And yet fools think they are awake, presuming to know that they are rulers or herdsmen. How dense. Only after the Great Awakening will we know that this is all a dream. Something very simple and pure and to the point, I think, with Taoist teaching and practice. So, I thought I'd share that tonight and whet your appetite for the Tao Te Ching. Okay.
These are also all over on the internet, used in good condition for like under $5 with free shipping. So,
here comes one of these easy questions from Tristan. I'm joking. This is not an easy question, but maybe it is. My first question is people who die from substance abuse like overdose. Is this a form of suicide? What do you believe happens to a soul when they go through that? I was raised Catholic, and I am Native American Plains Cree, and hear various fear-mongering commentaries. Absolutely. Before I answer about substance abuse, usually genuine suicide is the result of mental illness. People who commit suicide are mentally ill. You know, people who die of cancer are physically ill. Do you think the universe or God judges them and punishes them for being physically ill? No. And I do not believe that God judges or punishes people for being mentally ill either. So suicide is the result of, well, as Peace Pilgrim would say, immaturity. I would say ignorance and mental illness, because people don't know the seriousness of taking their own lives. You were raised Catholic and Native American Plains Cree, And the teaching of the Catholic Church classically was that if you commit suicide, you are damned to hell. I've already told you how I feel about that. I don't believe that. However, it is a serious disrespect of the gift of life. And sometimes the greatest changes happen the final seconds of life. As the soul is opening to death and seeing death, many people see the light and everything changes. So, is drug overdose a form of suicide? It might be if it was deliberate. I'm afraid, and sometimes it might be subconscious. I think many drug addicts maybe have a subconscious wish to be dead, to not feel the life. But when it's an accident, which it often is, and if not mostly, an accident. These days with fentanyl going around, people think they're going out and they're just going to get high and end up overdosing. And I can name some celebrities that we knew died of drug overdoses that it turns out all these years later it's beginning to come out that fentanyl was involved in a lot of those deaths. Horrible thing. Of course, other opioids will do it too. If it is a form of suicide, what happens to a soul when they go through that? Well, they can be very lost because they didn't see life as good. They were kind of shut off at that moment, probably from light. They can go through a time of confusion, which is why we need to pray for souls that go through that the light beings, the angels, the devas, the light and grace of God will help that soul to let go of that darkness and to begin to move to the light again. And I believe ultimately that is the end result for every soul. I mean, God is love and God is omnipotent and God's will has never changed. And God is willing that all be saved and come to the knowledge of the truth. So I assume that eventually God's will be done. Some of us are going to do it the hard way. Some of us are going to do it the easy way. But you said it when you mentioned fear-mongering commentaries. If it produces fear, if fear is not of God. Perfect love is God, and that casts out fear. But it is important to have knowledge of the sacredness of life. And I do understand why some people cut it short because they're suffering so much. And I just can't believe they're judged for that. But in most cases, I mean, life involves suffering. To go through the natural process to its conclusion is the cleanest, clearest, straightest way to move toward the light at the end of a lifetime. Okay. Moray says, can we assist even without reading the book to hear the discussions? Well, you could, but I mean, you can get it on audio. It's 81 paragraphs. I mean, really. You can do the Tao Te Ching in half an afternoon. And if you're having trouble reading or getting it, I know it's on audio, and I'm sure there are good Spanish translations. And yes, you could participate. We don't have rules in concrete, I don't think. But I would really encourage everyone to read the chapters that we're going to meditate on. I mean, you're reading a chapter that's like 2 inches long, one paragraph, and we're going to spend a whole, session discussing what that means to us. Okay, Tristan says, have you had experiences with seeing other lokas? In a word, yes. Lokas are other dimensions. That word comes from Hindu teaching. And in Hindu teaching, there are 7 lokas below us, which interestingly they would call hell realms. And so would the Tibetan Buddhists. although they call them bardos. That's the Tibetan Buddhist word for lokas is bardos. But these are other dimensions. There's the one we're on now, and there are these ones below us, which a soul could potentially, and yes, through something like suicide, end up descending into one of those darker, denser planes. But none of that's forever. It may seem like it at the moment, but the doorway has been opened from the deepest hell realm to the highest loka of light, to right into the heart of God. And in fact, it's described that that's what Christ did in his resurrection and ascension, was to just to blast through and create a path all the way. So yeah, there are other lokas. There are 7 above us. And also, interestingly, souls that have a lot of light and a lot of spiritual development will begin to ascend toward the light and find themselves in a higher loka. And they used to tell us in India that the loka just above earth is 100 times more blissful than anything in this world. So they go, I'm in heaven. And they can spend eons there serving a sort of divine-ish being that rules that loka, not realizing, wait, there's 6 more. And the next one above that is 100 times more blissful and 100 times more blissful. And the teaching in India was always, don't stop. Go all the way to the light. Which is, I think, why a lot of Buddhist teaching in meditation would recommend not getting attracted or sidetracked by some of the beautiful things you see in deep meditation. Just keep going for enlightenment all the way. And then if there's a purpose to explore, you have business on those other lokas or those bardos, that you'll know for sure. But just keep going all the way to the light. And that's what we, in our prayers and our work for departed souls, that's exactly what we're doing, is we're giving them a little push. There are special mantras for it that help keep them moving to the light. Want to add to that?
Nope.
Okay. Moray writes, Michael, good morning. Can you please speak about allergies? You mentioned past Monday, and I suspect they have big relations with consciousness, emotion, health, and spiritual path. Thank you. Yeah, I had something catch in my throat, and I said I must be allergic to something in here. It went away, and that was that. I'm not big on getting allergies personally. I experienced 1 year allergy to oak pollen. We have all these oak trees here. And I had people around me growing up. My sister had terrible hay fever and allergies. I think you have some insight into the relationship between allergy and fear?
Yeah.
Share a little.
Yeah, when I was in my early 20s, I read a book by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life. I'm sure it's still out there. I used to keep a couple copies so I could give one away. But at the end of the book, there's a list, and it gives the emotional and psychological reasons for dis-ease. And I remembered allergies being a fear reaction to something. It produces histamines that excite the areas that are being excited by the allergen. And I'm not a doctor, so I may be butchering all of this, but
well, no, it's you know that antihistamines are used when people get colds or respiratory infections to try to stop the flow of mucus. The histamines are causing the release of mucus, and that's to create a barrier of protection between the sinus, the mucous membranes, and some perceived element in the environment that's
a threat.
A threat to this particular being. So the nose begins to produce all this mucus to try to keep that allergen from getting in the mucous membranes, and the immune system throughout our bodies respond. But yes, so fear is one of the triggers for sure. I think there could be other things, such as genetics. There could be a genetic predisposition.
Oftentimes, if your immunity is not very strong too, you're more susceptible to allergens. So a good way to start working on that if you're experiencing a lot of allergies is to, go in and maybe change your diet or get some extra, supplements and support your immune system. Because our bodies are able to do an incredible amount if we put into it what we need to get out of it, to get good stuff out of it.
Maury said that allergies, have great relations with consciousness, emotion, health, and spirit, the spiritual path. An example in my life is I'm very fair-skinned. And so as a kid, I used to burn, like within an hour, I was burnt. If I spent 2 hours in the Florida sun, I got sun poisoning with blisters. And I'd be burning with a fever, blisters on my ears and my nose, and it was horrible. Okay, fast forward. I became a Franciscan. And Franciscans, one of the things you can say about St. Francis is he befriended nature. So it's perfect for a Taoist to go the Franciscan path. But Francis befriended all of creation. Lions wouldn't eat him because he praised God in Brother Lion. He didn't praise the lion, he praised God in the lion, because God's in everything. Bears wouldn't attack him. Wolves, he tamed this vicious wolf. It's a legend, you can read about it. Because he connected with God in everything. And one of his famous, maybe his most famous writing is the Canticle of Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon. And he says, praise be to God in Brother Sun. Praise be to God in Sister Moon. Now, very close to could have gotten him burned at the stake as a pagan. But he was worshiping God in nature. And befriending, I went, well, okay. So I began to praise God in Brother Sun. And I said, I'm going to befriend you. I don't need to be burned anymore because we're friends. We're one with each other. And I stopped getting sunburned. Now, I don't sit out there without sunblock for 6 hours in the Florida sun. But I've been through many of these exposures that as a kid would have put me in bed for a couple days that no longer create sun poisoning or blisters or serious burns. So if we're in harmony with the universe and with nature, I suspect that we're much less likely to manifest allergies. If there's a lot of resistance in us to, oh no, it's unclean out there, I don't want to get dirty, I don't want to become unclean through having contact with insects or nature, then that's the kind of separation from nature and resistance and downright fear that would breed allergies. We also today have some question about the effect of immunizations, because immunizations affect our immune systems in ways that we don't know. I'm not a doctor, so official disclaimer, you just let it go in one ear and out the other, but immunizations work with our immune system. And some people have developed strong allergies after getting certain vaccinations. So perhaps also some of the medicines and the pharmaceuticals that we're ingesting, and maybe some of the GMOs, genetically modified foods.
Pesticides,
suppose you're
colors,
fine with corn. Fine with corn. But suddenly you've just eaten some corn that has been genetically interfaced with grasshopper DNA to make it resistant to pests. Well, maybe grasshoppers don't agree with you. I don't know, but the point is we're being exposed to so many odd combinations of things that have an effect on our immune systems that there are a lot of scientific reasons that we're trying to come to understand quickly for this surge of allergies that is coming up. But in a word, humanity is at odds with nature right now. And we've caused a lot of problems on the planet. There are just so many of us. And we put out all this filth in the environment, and we cut down rainforests, and Mother Nature's not real happy about all that. So that we would begin to, our immune systems would start to be in conflict with nature makes a lot of sense, just on a spiritual level.
I was smiling a little bit ago. A cricket got into our house and is living in our Christmas tree. And I don't think you guys can hear it, but it's been very loud during the webcast. It makes me smile. It's funny because in ancient Chinese cultures, crickets are considered very
good luck.
Very good luck. They would build little houses for them and feed them and stuff. So it's kind of fun that it's the first cricket I think we've ever had in here that we're aware of. It's fun. It's a loud one.
In our Christmas tree.
In our Christmas tree.
Which is a
I need to Google
365-day-a-year phenomenon here
Yes.
in our house. Yeah, every day's Christmas. All right. Anything else? Great, thanks. Well, great, you're welcome. Thank you for the great questions, Mara. So we invite you to close your eyes and open your hearts and invoke the presence who dwells within you in all of its fullness. Pure love, pure light, pure grace, unconditional love for you. This being inside of you is all powerful, all knowing, all wise, and all love, and just wants to free you from the suffering caused by the illusion of separation and division. When truly you are one with the divine essence, it is your true essence. You are one with the divine at your core. And so the presence wants to draw you into its embrace and take you into the realization of what is already true about you, that you are one with the divine source. As you begin to open and make contact with this divine presence within you, it begins to flood your spirit with light, enlightening you. It begins to go out into the layers of your mind, your thoughts, and your emotions, and clear all those levels and inspire you with God-given thoughts and emotions and plans. Shines out into your physical body to dissolve and to heal all dis-ease. And shine into your relationships to make them right, to heal them, to make them strong, to free you from destructive relationships, to draw you into life-giving, light-filled relationships. And this light source within you, as you open to it and release it, will shine out through your life into the world and touch others and catalyze their awakening as well. So just receive, receive, receive. The light of the divine that is flooding you from within and from above and from without, from every direction. The divine is pouring out to you. Let your heart be filled to overflowing. Receive. Breathe it in. us in a circle together. With our eyes closed, lift up your hands with your palms open, facing forward. Let us all ask the Divine to pour the flowering heart blessing through all of us to each other. Just give your consent. There's nothing for you to do but consent to the presence, and it pours through you to everyone in the circle. And it pours through them back to you. Let us take a special intention tonight for all the souls who have taken their own lives, whether accidentally through overdose or deliberately. Let us take a strong intention, asking the Divine to flood them with light and healing, draw them out of darkness, and lift them up. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Now you can relax your hands in your lap. When you're ready, open your eyes. Begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just keep gazing at least one of our eyes as we dive into the light meditation. Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of grace, and light, and love for you. It streams through every pore of our being, especially through our eyes, the windows of the soul. As you just keep looking, that's all you need to do. Just stay open and receptive and receive, and the light streams out through through our eyes, in through your eyes, into your heart of hearts, to cause the light of awakening and the flames of divine love to burn brighter and brighter and brighter within you. keep meditating as long as it feels good to you. Or find a spot nearby where you could lie down in Shavasana. That's a yoga pose where you lie on your back comfortably with your eyes closed and your arms loosely at your sides with your palms open, turned upward. And just lie in the presence and let yourself dissolve in gratitude. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Till we cross paths again, know that the divine in us beholds the divine within you, and we bow to you. Namaste.
Namaste.